Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm filming my November wrap up, and even though I woke up early to get daylight, it is still like dark and blue, so I am blue, but I will fix it in editing, hopefully. In November I managed to read 23 books, which was my goal. Oh, my goal was 21, but I had to transfer 2 from October, and then it would be 21 in November and 21 in December, but then since I didn't read the 2 in October, it would be 23 in November. And I thought it was gonna go fine. But I also spent a whole week of November playing League of Legends, I think, because it was the end of the ranked season. In that week, I think I read 495 pages, and in the last week, I read over 3,000 to catch up on pages I didn't read that week. And it was weird for me to read one book throughout the whole week, because I haven't done that in ages, I feel like. And yay! But I did manage it, but it was a bit stressful. But here we are, and hopefully in December I won't procrastinate my reading that much. Let's get started. So as per usual, I will show you the books first that I read for Got a Thing for Season, which is a seasonal reading challenge I have, and this one I read for Got a Thing for Autumn, and that wrap up is already up, so you can hear my thoughts on these books in that wrap up, and I will leave it linked down below. The first one I read for that was You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This was one of my faves for the month, by the way. So good. Again, see that wrap up. Queen of the Conquered by Kaysen Calendar. This one, by the way, was the one that I spent ages reading on. Wasn't anything wrong with the book, but I only read one chapter each day to keep my reading streak. But that week I did not read at all. That week plus some more maybe. I feel bad for myself. And again, I keep bashing myself in my own videos. I do not know why I do this. Rainbearer by Jordan Ufeko. This was so good too, by the way. And for the last one was Tiny Pretty Things by Sona Charaipottra and Danielle Clayton. And I know I didn't say that name correctly, I'm sorry. Then we had those 4 books covered. Then for the books that I was supposed to read in October, we had Early Departures by Justin A. Reynolds. This one is Justin A. Reynolds' second book. His first book was Opposite of Always, which I read earlier this year and I absolutely adored. So this is his second release. They are not in series, but they definitely do have the same kind of traits in a way that they have a contemporary setting but with a sci-fi twist. So the first book, for example, had that the main character went back in time over and over and over until he could fix this one thing, and this one has the opportunity to take people that dies back to life for a short amount of time. So they have the opportunity to say goodbye to loved ones and, I don't know, fix shit in their life before they pass away. So this one follows Jamal, and his best friend Q then dies and is then reanimated. However, they did have a fallout and has not been speaking for the past, I don't remember if it was a couple of years, but for a long while, and they used to be the best of friends. That is basically the story. I actually hadn't read, by the way, the synopsis before reading this, because I don't tend to do that, especially if I know I'm gonna pick a book up with this one, since I just had read the first book of the author. So I had no idea what it was gonna be about, and I was so surprised when it started resurrecting people, etc. I was like, what is going on? It's really a story about life and friendship and, not letting things pot for too long, because you never know how long you're gonna have. And it's also just about friendship and forgiveness and family, and it had some really adorable cute moments, but it was also really, really heartbreaking and sad, which I should have expected, because that was the last book too. My favorite parts of the book was definitely they used to do these YouTube channel videos together, and I thought that they were really funny. They were just written out, of course, we couldn't watch them, but I thought that they were really funny, and if they had been real YouTubers, I would think they were funny, because I thought the jokes they did on page was really funny. I just really like the YouTube videos that we didn't see, but that was written out. And I just loved their friendship, and I just thought it was really sad, everything they went through, and I wish them all the best, truly. But yeah, really do recommend this book. I'm really excited to see what the author will continue to write, because the ideas are really original. I really like how they're heartbreaking about these different people, etc. So yay, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. So I was supposed to read this one in October as well, and that was The Promised Neverland Volume 9. But later in November, I also read The Promised Neverland Volume 10, so I'm just bundling these together. These are by Kayo Shirai, and The Promised Neverland follows all these children in an orphanage that finds out a really big secret about this orphanage that they have been living happily in since they were children, etc. I don't want to say that's secret, but it does say behind on the first synopsis manga thing. That was a weird sentence. This is like my fave manga right now, and the second season of the anime is coming out in January. I'm very, very excited, but like I'm obviously far ahead. It just keeps having these twists and turns. You think a story is going to go in a certain way, and it never has gone in a way that I thought it would, like, ever. Volume 9, we got things revealed that we've been waiting for a really long time, and I shook myself in my pants, to say it like that. And then we prepared for this battle. This is so weird. I don't know. And then in volume 10, it's basically the outcome of the battle, but we're not done with it yet. Is that spoilery? I do not know. I'm trying to like talk about a bit of these at least. But overall, just so good, so excited to finish the series, and also really nervous. It's only 20 volumes, so I only have 10 left, and so much has happened in these 10. So I am scared, but also like excited to see how the story will wrap up eventually. They're so good. I don't have words. This is like, I recommend this with all my heart. I then finished my reread of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Lee Bardugo. This one I listened to the audiobook. The first time I read Crooked Kingdom, I actually listened to the audiobook then too, but I used to go read this the first time. But now listen to the audiobook of both of them. I listen to the audiobook of Everyone in the Great Words right now for my rereads. Rereading in the preparation for King of Scars 2, and also, wait, that has a title now, but I keep forgetting it. And also, of course, for the Netflix show. And what to say? I feel like Crooked Kingdom is my favorite of the two, and that here, like, all the plotting and stuff was much cooler, I think, in this one. But this is like, has a cool heist story, but I feel like it also is the book that sets up the characters, and like we get all the flashbacks to get to know them. Not that there's no flashback in this one, but I just feel like the story here is more fun, and this one is like setting up them all. But I love them all. I do. I definitely feel like I don't love these two as much as like everyone else does, but I do adore them, and I do enjoy them a lot. Also, I love these editions, but they were heavy, so I don't know why I got those. What else to say? What to talk about the series, because everything has been said already. I enjoy it. I think the characters are cool. And my biggest complaints about this series is probably like that they don't seem like teenagers at all, even though like they're supposed to be like 16, but they cannot be 16, honestly. That is like my biggest weirdest complaint, but if you just forget about the age, it works perfectly fine. And I just love they being badass and all different characters when they do these crazy plans, and then like just them interacting, and yay. I don't know why, but my favorite scene is in End of Crooked Kingdom with Cass and Pekka Rollins in like that scene in the end. That is like, I don't know why, but it gives me the chills every time. I enjoy that scene a lot. And that's what I got to say about that. I don't know how to talk about these apparently. I give them both 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know why I can't give them 5, but I do enjoy them a lot, and these editions are pretty, and I do enjoy the Great Awards and everything. Of course. That was like the worst reviews ever. Again, bashing myself. I then read My Hero Academia, volume 25 by Koi Horikoshi. This one is set in a world where 80% of the population has a quirk or a superpower and is turned into a superhero supervillain society. We follow Midoriya, who wants to be a superhero, but he does not have a quirk. But he still starts the hero school and does get a quirk, which is not a spoiler because it happens like in the first chapter. I love it. I love it. It's one of my faves. I adore all the characters and the powers they have and everything. But I do have issues with the fact that it never ends. And I keep saying this in every single wrap-up I talk about this. It's fun. This one, we followed more of the villains, and we got the whole backstory of like the main villain that we gotten since, I was gonna say season 1, but yeah, since the beginning. I'm looking in it because I'm like, what happened? And then we have a super cute Christmas party. Yeah, and then they are starting like apprenticeship, is that what it's called? Job apprenticeships things again. And also there is like a big battle coming up, I think, because it's like some people are gonna attack some other people. And I think like we are building now up to that big battle, but I don't think that's gonna be like the last battle of the whole manga, is it? Because I doubt it. I think like that's gonna be the last battle, and then we're gonna get another conflict to continue the series, but we will see. I really enjoy the series. As I said, I love the characters. It's been my faves for years now. I'll be reading it for years, and I will keep reading it because now I'm so far ahead. And yay, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think I am enjoying this a lot. Okay, they're fun, but again, it feels like it's not gonna end, but it's so fun still to follow the story, of course. I then read The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. This one is the book of the month for Faes and Gays, which is a book club I am co-hosting where we focus on reading queer, sci-fi or fantasy books every single month. So this one is a fantasy book, obviously, and it has an FF romance, so yay. And we basically follow different characters. We follow Lynn, who is the Emperor's daughter, and she is trying to prove to her father that she can be the heir of the Empire, basically, and he gives her these different tests, and she is also competing with her foster brother about this. We also have, what's his name? We also have another character. It's a dude, but now I cannot remember his name. Oh my god. We have Jarvis, and he is a smuggler, so he's starting to help some children and stuff in the Empire. And the Empire is basically based on that every single person that is born in it has to give up a bone shard to the Emperor that he uses for his constructions. And he makes these constructions with his power as an Empire to protect the Empire against these people that I now can't remember the name of that invaded them a long time ago, and he's the one who can protect them, but people are like, that bullshit. And if he uses their bone shard, they're like slowly dying, so people want, you know, to not give up their bone shards anymore. I hope that was not a spoiler, but basically people are unhappy and revolution blooms and stuff. And I was really intrigued by the whole magic system, how these bone shards worked, seeing the main character realize that the system they have is maybe not the best one, etc. I also forget to mention like the two other main characters, which is the ones being in a relationship. They are on like one of the other islands in the Empire, and they like are working with like a group of revolutionists to like throw down the governor in that island region, whatever. And Lynn is in the capital. So I think that this story was fun, and I really enjoyed, as I said, the magic system, as I said just now. But I also think that execution could have been better. I am actually a bit disappointed. The first 100 pages was so good. I was so hyped because there's also like these people has been preparing for a long time, and like Jarvis, our smuggler, is like looking for his wife, and we have this chase of him trying to find her, and I think like it was all really cool. But then I kept reading, and I had this feeling like when I was like on page, I don't know, remember how long this was. It's like 400 pages. So when I was on page 300, I still felt like we were on page 100 because I feel like there had been no development in the story. The character just kept going around doing kind of the same thing over and over. But like I get that we need experiences and that we need to get to know them and stuff, but I feel like there was no development in the story until like the complete end. Then yes, things did develop in a way that I'm not sure how the sequel will go, and I think that's really cool because I love it when we don't have like the same conflict throughout the whole story. So definitely think like it ended on a really interesting point, but I do think that the whole story not was necessarily slow. I just feel like there weren't any developments, and also our point of views, because we have 5 of them. One is like on an island and that person doesn't know who they are. And then we have the 2 people that are together that now I can't remember the name of, but they were like so close up in each other that like they followed the exactly same storyline. So I don't know how necessary it was to have those 2 point of views together. And then we have Lane and Jarvis, which are like completely different experiences, so I get that. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed some parts a lot, and I enjoyed the gist of it, but I think overall for the development of the story, it was just like a bit meh. But yeah, I cannot have coherent thoughts apparently. We will have the live show very soon for this, for our Faes and Gays book club, and I'm really excited to discuss it with the others to see what they felt and like to give my thoughts more thought. Like we challenge each other's thoughts sometimes, and I think it's really interesting to see like one thing I interpreted and see someone else interpret it in a different way. That's why it's so fun to talk about books together. So yeah, but overall I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars, but just because like I realized that yes, it was cool, but that wasn't enough for me to like adore it completely. I didn't hate it or anything, and I definitely will continue because, as I said, I liked it a lot and the concepts and stuff, but yay. Also, I realized I'm using a long time, so I should probably hurry up a bit. I then read A Deadly Annotation by Naomi Novik. This one is the first book in the series, and I also know, of course, the criticism that this book got after it got out, but I wanted to read it nevertheless, just because I had already bought it, and also I still was interested in like a whole dark academia aspect, but of course I'm aware of the things that this also had not so good things that people got really hurt by, and that is not okay, of course. So this one follows basically a school where the school wants to kill the students that go there all the time. It has like lots of different monsters that like basically want to eat and kill them in every single way. And then we follow the main character, Al, Is that a main character's name? I think so. Either way. And we have had this other character, Orion, going on saving everyone for the last few years, so not that many students has been dying. And because of this, so many monsters are kind of unsatisfied and stuff, and like haven't been able to eat each other. I'm not sure. And then there's problems because of this. Either way, I was just really excited to see like a really dark academia setting. I haven't read Uprooted, neither Spinning Silver by this author. I have, however, read Temari, which I can never pronounce, and I really enjoyed that one. But this one, however, was just very... I didn't like the writing. I think I liked the concept of the story, and I did enjoy the characters to some degree, but I just didn't like the writing. There was so much text. There was like barely any dialogue, and I'm not saying I need dialogue all the time to read a book. Like, I read a lot of books with no dialogue, but it was just so much info and text, and I just didn't love, I guess, how the sentences were constructed. I wouldn't even say confused, I was just very bored, and I was very sad because I was really excited, but it was just so much like text of like what it would do and that was happening, and it was just, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I sound really like weird complaining about the fact there was a lot of text in a book. That sounds really weird, but I don't know how to describe it without like having experienced it yourself. It was just like a lot of like happenings over long pieces of pages, a lot of explanations over long pieces of pages all the time, and there was no reprieve from it, and I think like that was a lot. And I think like it made the story that was really interesting, at least it could have been interesting, very boring, really long, dragged out. And I think like the plot of the story wasn't also that interesting as I thought it would be. I thought it would be more like, I thought it would be cooler. I don't know why. I felt like the missions that I had the missions they made for themselves were kind of lame. I don't know. So like I ended up not enjoying it. I thought it would be like a 5-star read, to be honest, but it was like a 3-star read. And I'm very, very disappointed. I'm very sad about it, actually. I will of course continue the series because that's how I roll. I am excited to see how they would do. I like the concepts of the story. I just like that the school wants to murder them all the time and they still go there. But yeah, but overall, like the ideas, I just could not stand the writing, for me at least. And I think maybe I would do better if I listened this to the audiobook. So I am thinking about like rereading it an audiobook before like the second book comes out to refresh myself or to see if I enjoy it more then. So look out for that in a billion years. Yay. No, I think actually the sequel is coming out in July next year, so we will see. But yeah, it's a pretty book though. That's all I gotta say about that. Did I say the star rating? I gave it 3 out of 5 stars if I didn't say it. I then read Bloom Into You Volume 7 by Nakatana Neo, and this one is on the second to last volume in the series, and we follow these two girls that has been having a thing since the 4th volume, where one of the characters kind of let the other character love her because she felt like she couldn't love anyone or something like that. And now we have had so much character development. They set up a play because they were working in the student council setting up a play, and now we just like are coming to the end. I don't want to spoil anything, but the last volume ended on a big cliffhanger, and here we see the aftermath of that, and in the last one there will be the aftermath of the aftermath, and I am not ready, but I'm also ready for them to just be together forever, because if they don't, I will fling all the volumes into the wall. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you more than this, than that it's super adorable, and I think it also is hard to wrap up manga without like spoiling anything if like people haven't read it. Overall, just super fun and adorable, and I just adore it so much. I don't know what to tell you. 4 out of 5 stars or something. I don't usually say the rating on these because I think it's hard to rate manga in general. I then read Finding My Voice by Marie Myung-ok Lee. This one I have a full review up on my channel because it was an article from NetGalley, and it's being released on the 1st of December. This one was actually a re-release because it was released for the first time in 1992, and it follows this Korean American teen being the only Korean American family in this small town, and she's working really hard to get into Howard and also balancing her friends, and then getting maybe potentially a new boyfriend, etc. I will be brief about this, but basically she is also dealing like with being bullied and racism at school and stuff, and I think it's really interesting to see how this is so accurate still for like Asian and like, I don't know, people who experience bullying and racism in general, and how it still hasn't changed at all in like 30 years. And I know that like that is not a long time, and I know that like I knew this already, but I still think it's like weird to see that like a book like this could have been released this year, even though like of course like, you know, the setting and stuff, like they didn't have iPhones and stuff. But if you had scratched that, the historical parts of it, it could have been written yesterday, and that is kind of scary but also fascinating. And I think that it's nice that it's now being released so more people can find it, because it was too early for its time. People were not ready for a story like that. But yeah, it was really enjoyable. I just had some problems with the writing there too, because I feel like the story disconnected sometimes because of it. But overall, really enjoyed it, and I will leave a link to my full review down below. I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars, by the way. And then read Super Fake Love Song by David Yoon. Last year he released Franklin Love, which I enjoyed so much, and this one was adorable too. This one is much more lighter, I think, in a way that Franklin Love was not. Franklin Love was really like serious and sad. This one is very like fun, very like young adult fun time movie. Of course, it follows a Korean American teen again, Sunny. He's a nerd, and I think it's awesome to be a nerd, by the way, because I was one too. It's basically dedicated in the beginning to the nerds, because he's a super nerd, like making up weapons for like costumes, for cosplays, etc. And also like doing Dungeons and Dragons and all that fun stuff. And then he meets a girl and he thinks she's cool, so he then makes up a story that he's actually in a band to seem cool, and then he decides maybe that this cool version of him, where he like dresses in like band cool clothes that his brother had, is that better than the nerdy version of him. And then like, because he started his band, he needs to actually make a real band with his friends so they can enter this competition, so that they can, it's like fake band, but it's also really fun. And it also goes deeply into Sunny's expectations of himself, and like seeing that being a nerd or being a loser, which is not true at all, but like how he sees himself is maybe okay too. And it's also had like really sweet moments with his friends. I love how close they were and how they just adored each other, and I loved how other friendships suddenly spread up that you didn't expect, and the romance was also adorable. It was also like a fun time. And also how his family had different struggles and how that was approached too, with his brother and with his parents. And I just, basically every base was covered, and it was adorable and fun. And as I said, but definitely a lighthearted tone, because like he has this like fake band thing, and you know, like it's gonna get out and reveal and stuff, but it's like still a lot of fun. Franklin Love had fake dating, but like that was just a small part of the story, because it was promoted as fake dating, but then it was just so much more. But that one was heartbreaking, I'm telling you. Also, Franklin Love has kind of a different writing. I think like my biggest issue with Franklin Love was the writing. I don't know, so many books in this video that I'm complaining about the writing, I'm sorry, but this one had just like a totally different writing, so I just like the story flow much better for me here. And yeah, now I want to reread Franklin Love maybe on audio. I reread a lot on audio, if you couldn't tell, but I don't know if I want to cry again. But yeah, no crying in this one though, but it was so fun and cool, and yeah, just a really fun contemporary. I apparently don't have words. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I give everything 4 out of 5 stars apparently. Or 3, I guess. And then read My Dress Up Darling by Shinji Fukunda, and this one is the second volume in the series, and it basically follows this one character that I know cannot remember the name of, Wakana, and he like wants to make Hina dolls, and then one of the other most popular girls at school finds out that he makes these dolls and think that he can help her make like a cosplay for a character she wants to be, and he basically starts helping her. And these comes in plastic because it's a bit like explicit content, but not like, so far it hasn't been like that bad that I feel like dirty reading this, even though I shouldn't, because who cares what people read? People can read what they want. Either way, in this one they go to their first cosplay event, and yeah, I don't think this was as fun as the first one. I feel like the story also is a bit strange. It's just basically about them making costumes and going together, but I also think they're so sweet together, and how like they start liking each other is adorable, because he absolutely does not think that she likes him, and it's so cute. I think like it's actually really much weirder than I thought it would be. I thought it would be more, I guess, perverted, because like it comes in plastic and everything, but it's not at all. It's like actually really adorable, and I just love seeing their friendship develop and making these costumes, and I don't know, it's a cute thing. Okay, so yeah, it's enjoyable. I enjoy it. I don't know what more to tell you. I don't know how to talk about this. I struggled so hard in my favorites for this, but I done read The Burning God by R.F. Kuang, and this is the third and final book in the Poppy War series. Poppy War follows basically Rin, who is like a really poor, I guess you can call her a peasant from the south in the Nikada kingdom. Is that what it's called, right? Nikada? In the Nikan kingdom. I don't know where Nikada came from, I'm sorry. And then she searched really hard because she doesn't want to marry this old dude to come into Sinagard, which is like the most prestige military school in the country, because the country has been in war before, the second and the first Poppy War. I don't know why I said that in the wrong order either. yeah, she does get in there, spoiler, and yeah, the story develops from there. They go into war again. Surprise, surprise. It is called the Proper War after all. And then it has also shamanism and other things, and it's just so intense. So I keep talking about these books and I don't know how to talk about them. But yeah, my first time reading Proper War, I was like, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and then I read Dragon Republic and gave it 5 stars because it was one of the best things I ever read. We had now reread Poppy War and Dragon Republic right before reading this to prepare myself, and 5 stars to both of them. And I gave this 5 stars too. But also I'm conflicted because I adore the series. I appreciate the series so much. It's one of the best things I ever read. But I also want to fling the burning god into a wall because I'm frustrated with things. I also feel like the story skipped a lot, but then I realized that they did that a lot in the Dragon Republic as well. I guess what makes me conflicted about this is the feeling of despair in this. And there's like no hope. And I feel like in the other series there was hope. There was a light in the tunnel in the end. But here it just spirals down to nothing. And I guess my point with this story is then, what was the point? Because I feel like also the end, even though they hint to what will happen after the end, it's not enough for me. And I guess that is why making me question the story afterwards, like of everything we went through with all the characters and everything and everyone who died. Oh my god, so many people died. What was the point of everything for that end? I guess maybe the message could be that war is pointless, that we just keep fighting, and what are we fighting for in the end? Because sometimes it can actually end up in nothing. And that is a good message, but it's also really heartbreaking as a reader. And like, I adore it. Like, I'm not saying I didn't like it, but it also makes me think a lot. And it also is like, I wouldn't say it's an unsatisfying ending, but it is a questionable ending for me. But like, things played out also not how I expected. Like, there was a lot of hype of like a certain thing in the book. I'm not going to spoil it, of course. And then they just like and then they like conveniently did another at the same time, and I was just like, oh, okay, after all that, you're just gonna wrap it up like that. That was like in the middle of the book, by the way. And then again, like, the feeling of despair was so potent here. There was like, it was sad to read it because there was like no light, as I said. And I don't know, I guess it's always been a heavy, really dark series. I'm not saying that, but there's always been like sprinkles of something, and here it was nothing. But yeah, I adore it. I adore the characters. I think the author is like brilliant, and I'm so excited to read her next works forever. But yeah, I am drained from this. I do not know what I think. I want to reread the whole series again because I love it so much. But yeah, conflicted is my word, but I did adore it, and I definitely don't know if like I still would give it 5 stars or if I could give it a 4. But I feel like my overall feelings for the series is 5 stars. But like, I have thoughts about the story in this last one, but like, that's not a bad thing, because you should think about what you read. And I think it's so good that she is challenging everything she wrote before. That's also cool. I don't know. I'm not intelligent enough to talk about this, so we're gonna leave it at that. But anyone who wants to talk about Burning Ground with me, because I have so much things in my mind, please DM me on Twitter or something. I then read Järnulven, or The Iron Wolf by C.A. Patterson. This is the newest book in a new series by this author who also wrote The Odin's Children or The Raven Wings, which is actually coming in English next year. But I am planning to make a whole video about them because I love them so much and I don't want people to know about them. Either way, this is her new series. It is set in the same universe, but it's following new characters. And this one was strange, okay? The first pages, I was like, what? But yeah, what is about? It's about, what's the main character's name? Why do I keep forgetting the main character's name? I cannot deal with myself. The main character's name is Yuva, and she saw the devil when she was a child. And in this world, we have this thing called the wolf virus, where people basically go feral and then like they have to put them down. There's a lot about like blood in this, like there's dealings in blood and people taking blood and getting high and different shit. I don't even know what to tell you. There's also like people reading blood and like reading people's future blood, but a lot of them are fake and some are real, and we do not know who and what. And yeah, and Yuva comes from a family of blood readers, and she's like left them because she was like, fuck that shit, it's fake. And then she is forced back again to say it like that. I will admit that in the beginning I was not on board. I was just like, okay, what is going on? What are these people? There was like different creatures, not creatures, but like different people, and they were called different things, and I was so confused confused. I understood what was happening, but I didn't understand like the context of everything because it felt also scattered. And then you just came to a point in the story where everything just clicked. Everything just was explained, not like explained like literally info dumping, but like it would just all fell into place of what everyone wanted, because I was so confused of what people actually, what was their motivations, because everyone was just everywhere. But then it just came to a point where it's just like, oh, it all makes sense now. And I know like the author of course did this on purpose, but just coming to that point was just so good, because then the story just like, I was just like reading the pages so fast. And yeah, like all these last books I had to read like in one day because, you know, I was behind. And it was just so good. And then it just like, yay, there was a lot of bonus in this book, and I improved, by the way, so much of it. The two main characters, the character, I ship her so much with the other character. I don't even know, is that a spoiler? I can't even say who I ship her with. I was screaming for them. It did not go well so far, but it's a trilogy. It's the first book in the series. I am just so excited now. Like, as I said, I was so confused, and I was just like, what? If I was the type to DNF, I think I would even DNF it, but I don't ever DNF. But if I was, but then you would never get all the good parts in this book, because it's just like, it all fell into place. I don't know, I can't describe it. It was just all fell into place, and it was just so good. And just like knowing all the motivations and like what was going on and why and whatever, it just made it so worth it. And yeah, I almost gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Almost, because I just feel like it could have deserved it, but that because like of the 200 pages of total confusion, I don't feel like it was enough for me yet. But like, yeah, we will see. I need to get that certain feeling to give 5 stars if you didn't get that. 4 or 5 stars for this one. I would give it 4.5 if I could. Also, personalized to me because Norwegian author, and it's one of the perks of being Norwegian. I then read Demon Slayer Volume 3, which is the third by Koyohau Goto Uga, and this one follows Tanjiro, whose family is murdered by demons, except his sister turned into demon, and then he decides to become a demon slayer because he wants to find out a cure to turn back into human. And now he's a demon slayer in this one. We are wrapping up the battle from the last one, and then he goes on a new mission, and it's just so much fun. I'm still like in the parts of the manga where I have watched anime, and it's making me want to rewatch anime because it's so much fun. And then now he's meeting 2 other demon slayers, and they are like my babies. So the 3 of them together, that trio is the best. So I'm so excited to see them more interact. One of my babies is on the cover. Yay! What to tell you, it's just a really fun series with demons and fighting, and also really sweet moments with friendship and family and stuff. It's really good. One of my faves, but like not fave, but still faves. That made sense, I guess. That was like the shortest review in my life. And then finally actually read Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jace Kristoff. This is one of the books that's been on my TBR, I think, for the longest. But that's because like I need to fill out my TBR, and I asked my best friend like, what do you want me to read? Because she-ish knows what's on my shelves. This is what I do when I don't know what to read, because I make other people decide for me because I can't decide. And then she was just like, what about that Illuminate, the orange one? I was like, sure, I will read it. So yeah, it was a 600-page book, but it's a lot of like, people know what this is, right? It's really like a classic YA now, I think. Pictures and lists and like reports. It's not told like in a text variant of stories, like reports and texts and different things. And that's what it's known for. It's these 2 characters, Asra and Katie, who like is, I was gonna say, invaded or bombed at this place, their planets or whatever. And then it's a sci-fi, by the way. And then they are in these ships, and then a virus breaks out, and like they also like chased by the people who wanted to attack them in the first place. And yeah, lots of shit goes down. So this one came out in, I don't even know what year anymore, but I had put it on my to-be-read, I think in 2015. It's been 5 years. It's been a hype book for a really long time. I have the whole series. I'm ready to read it, and I didn't hate it, but I did not love it either. I would say like the format is what makes the story. I don't think the story itself was that cool if it hadn't been for the original format. Then the format annoyed me. It was really annoying to read sometimes. I had to adjust for every single page for the different formats of who was talking, what was going on, because we switched all the time. And me adjusting all the time in my brain was exhausting. I sound like the laziest reader ever. I know that people say the audiobook is really, really good, how they made a format there, and I wonder how that would be, and I'm considering listening to the audiobook for the second one. But yeah, I think it's an original idea, but it was hard to read sometimes. Sometimes the text was like really grey, so like I had to like really concentrate my eyes to read. I sound like the worst complainer. I also wonder, how does this look on Kindle? And I wonder if it would be awful on Kindle. And as I said, like when people text all the time and we switch to people who are texting, I always like, who is talking right now? Because my brain is confused. And also sometimes I have to turn the book upside down to read it. And I also people think maybe this is really cool. And I do think it's a cool idea. I do think it's a cool setup and it's very original, and I do like the idea of it, but it was also kind of annoying to read. And yeah, that does affect my reading experience. But yeah, again, I think it's cool and original, but also think it was annoying. And then like, I don't know, it's like weird to get to know these characters through all this, but I do still think that we got to see the characters shine on the page, even though like we don't like get to go right into the heads, kind of, even though we did a bit. But yeah, like the story itself is cool, like the plot of the story, but I also think like it was a bit like didn't make completely sense. I don't know how to explain it. The plot was like, in the beginning at least, very confusing, and then in the end it was just like, I guess I was a bit confused of what was happening because of the way it was told, but it made sense. But I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think the plot of the story is not like the most original ever, and I'm really like about plot, but it was fun though, and I think it's a cool type of story. I know people like love this to death and 5 out of 5 stars, but for me it was like 3 out of 5. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. So yeah, I had a few this month that disappointed me a bit, apparently, and that's fine. But yeah, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It was a bit annoying. That's all. I don't know. I guess also like if the story had been more impressive, like the plot itself, I think I would have enjoyed it more, but it was also just a bit like, oh, whatever. And then listen to How to Defeat a Demon King in 10 Easy Steps by Andrew Rowe. This one is an Audible original, but it does have a paperback copy apparently, and I need to get it. We are set in this world where the Demon King and the hero is spawned like every 100 years or so. Our main character does decide to just go and defeat the Demon King because she's tired of waiting for the hero while so many people are dying, etc. But she's not a hero, so she needs to do like level up different skills to like try to get the hero sword and try to defeat the Demon King. So it reads like a game. You're basically in a game where like she levels up skills and stuff, and it's basically like an anime. It reminds me a lot of like the time I was reincarnated as a slime, like Konosuba, etc. And like it's like perfect for people who love those kind of animes, and they are my faves, like one of my faves, set into another world, building up and leveling up and stuff. It's like one of the best things, and it read like an anime, and it was just so much fun. It also had like super cool plot twist in it, and it was so short, and managed to getting in all these plot twists and getting in that plot. It was just so cool in a short amount of time, and I just enjoyed it so much. It like made me happy. It made me so happy to listen to, and it was just like the best thing, that following the story and everything. So 5 out of 5 stars to this one. One of my faves. You should really check it out. There's also like a thing I would recommend, for example, for people who don't like to listen to audiobook but they want to get into it, because the story is so engaging and it's really short and it's not like super overly complicated, and the audiobook was also really cool. So like if you are unsure of getting into audiobooks, I would recommend this one a lot, because it's like a really good short fun story to just follow as on audio. And I want a physical copy and I want a sequel ASAP. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Now I read also Cress by Marissa Meyer, which I finished last night, reading as fast as possible. No, but yeah. And this is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles. This one we follow Cress, which is basically a retelling of Rapunzel. And if you do not know, these are all like basically different retellings of different known fairy tales. In the first one we have Cinder, who is a cyborg, and then they are like really discriminated against, but then she meets the prince and yay, she's an evil stepmother. And there's so much more than that. We also like basically in war with Luna, or like the moon. I hope it's the moon, if I'm not an idiot. And they want to like basically take over Earth, and they're really mean. Not all of them, of course. And then like there's all this whole like conflict, a lot of politics and wars, and like there've been wars, so like it would be worse, who knows. And yeah, there's a lot of complex stories, but the character's really great. The second book followed like Red Riding Hood, or Scarlet, who meets Wolf, blink blink. And in this one, as I said, we have Rapunzel, and I just love seeing all the characters come together, these plot lines come together, seeing characters grow into themselves and like fighting for what they want. And I don't know, I am excited in the last book to see how it all wrap up. Hopefully it will be a happily ever after. And yeah, like I am enjoying this a lot. It's not like my fave ever, the best book of all time, but it's like really enjoyable, super fun. I get why these have gotten so much hype and it's people's faves for such a long time, and I feel like I'm reading up on some really backlists. I think that is great. Like A lot of new ones though too, but then also a bit of backlash because we need a balance of both. And I apparently cannot have coherent thoughts about this, but also like it's a third book in the series. I feel like I can't talk much about like the plot, etc. because spoilers, not that I ever do that anyway, because we don't want to spoil, right? But yeah, it has some really sweet moments, and I just, all the ships and all the characters, I like them all, and I want them all to be okay and just kiss, okay? I want them all to just kiss and love each other. That's basically what I want from this whole series. 4 or 5 stars to that one. That was a great review. So for the last thing I read in November, finally, we have My Androgynous Boyfriend by Tame Koyu. And this one, I cannot pronounce the word androgynous. Androgynous. I don't know English, that's why. And this one is the second volume in the series. I read the first one a few months ago. I finally picked up the second volume. It's been a while. Ow! I just hit myself in my face. And I feel like I need to apologize for how I talked about androgynity in my last video when I talked about this, because I don't think I really understood it, and I'm not an expert by any means now either, but I feel like my camera stopped filming and I thought I lost all the footage, and it wasn't there. And then when I took the memory card in the camera again, it like prepared itself, so all my 50 minutes of footage was still there. If I lost that, I would have to refilm, and luckily for me it was not. My camera did interrupt me in the middle of my apology here. So what I was trying to say is that I apologize for seeming really ignorant when talking about this the first time, if that is how I came across. I did not mean to, and no one has like commented on it and on anything, but I've been thinking about it, how my words, how I spoke them. So, and I think like I sounded really insincere and I could have been hurtful, and I'm sorry if I was. Either way, I'm not an expert on this subject by any means, but I think I understand it more now. That's my point, and I'm sorry if I came across as rude, and I did not mean to. Either way, I don't even remember what I said in that video. I just had a feeling that what I said was like, I didn't like what I said, I guess. This manga follows Meguru, who is a very, very cute and is a androgynous model, and he is together with this girl on the back. What is her name? I'm so bad with names, I'm sorry. And then he also another androgynous, which I know I cannot say like a proper word, I don't know why, model comes forward too, which is Sasame, and they like start to like a duo together. And it's basically a very like slice of life manga where like every chapter is like one tiny mini story, but I do like all, of course, have an ongoing story altogether, but like there's tiny mini stories. It's very slice of life. And what I like the most about this manga is that these two characters here are already in an established relationship, and they are so cute and love each other so much. And I just love how much they trust each other and love each other, and I just love how, as I said, they're all in an established relationship, and I feel like that is really rare in manga, and I really enjoy their relationship. Overall, it's just like him becoming more famous, and then yeah, her supporting him, I guess. And I guess like that is also why like I don't adore his series. I don't love it to death, because it's really like, it's cute. That is what you would describe. It's cute and adorable, but it's not more than that. And I'm not saying that it has to be like, every story doesn't need to be the most mind-blowing shit or something. That's not what I mean. But I just mean like the story itself is not engaging me that much, because it's just, as I said, just him trying to become an influencer and model and stuff. But like the relationship is what keeps me going. It's just so cute. I feel like also when Meguru is trying to like say things, the girl's just like speaking over him, and that really bothered me in this one because it happened like twice as examples. I'm not saying like it's a toxic relationship, that's not what I mean by any means. It's just a bit annoying that like they could listen to each other a bit more. But I think like that maybe will be a topic in the future, and that like they will prove that, and like that would be cool to see like relationship develop and stuff, because all relationship, even though like they're super cute and perfect, need to develop. But I just love how much they clearly adore and love each other. What I need in my life, you need some love, you need to read this one. I also think it's interesting to read a story with a androgynous main character, because I haven't done that before. Communication can become better, and I think it would be interesting to see how it will go. They're just really cute. Okay, so that was all the books that I read in November. Thank to all the camera and book gods that my footage was not deleted. You will see me soon in December. I am doing vlogmas, so after this, it's every day, at least for 24 days. And then other vids in the end, of course. I want to also start doing the thing where I say an emoji. You can leave down below if you like don't feel like leaving a long comment, etc. Because I love a lot of creators does this, and I think it's a great way to just like show that you made it through the end, or like show that you enjoyed this video. So since the last thing I talked about here was my dangerous boyfriend, you can leave a emoji of like the boy, you know, the boy emoji down below. If you like this video and if you made it to the end, yay, I'm at least trying it out. See if I remember. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.